Wow, I can't believe it's been 24 years since September 11th, 2001. I cannot believe the time is flown. And I will tell you, so far, I have never forgot that tragedy day, that tragic day. Do you remember what you did during that day? What was going on during that time? I sure do, and I'll just do a quick recap of that. My business partner and I decided to go out for breakfast at the last minute, and the restaurant that we went to is just one of those quick dining places, and it was just less than 5 minutes away from we worked in the office, and probably within about 5 or 10 minutes or so, when we got seated and we were starting to look through our menus, a woman, don't know exactly where she came out of. I don't know if she was in the restaurant or she came off the street, but she was so frantically, and she was just yelling and screaming, "Turn on the television, turn on the television, turn on the television." And manager was kind of like, "What the heck is going on?" And she said, "You need to turn on the television right now." And the manager was like, "Okay." So he turned on the television, and all of a sudden, right when she turned on that television, it was just probably within 5 minutes. Um, After that, we saw the coverage of the first airplane going into the Trade Center. Everybody was in shock in the restaurant, but of course, there's a lot of speculation in the restaurant. What's going on? What happened? Was there an airplane? Because at that time, we didn't know what kind of airplane it was. Was it a commercial airplane? Was it a private airplane? Nobody knew. And so there was a lot of speculation going on in the restaurant, and even my business partner and I were talking about it. And then all of a sudden, second plane hit. And right when that happened, I knew right off the bat, being in the field of emergency management, security, I knew something was wrong, because it just does not happen when you have two airplanes going into the Trade Center, one in each tower. It just doesn't make sense. And like I said at the beginning, we thought, well, maybe it was a plane crash, going into the building. But when you have two separate at different times, right off the bat, it was not right. And after we got done eating breakfast, went back to the office and just listened to the coverage. And of course, then another plane hit the Pentagon. Then another plane, went down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And of course, that's when you really knew America was under attack. A few months prior to September, it was probably late summer, mid to late summer. My business partner and I joined an organization dealing with plane crashes. And that was a organization that we looked up, not only be a member, but we also looked up plane crashes from the various plane crashes that happened throughout the years. And the president of the organization called us the next day, actually, and said, "Can you do us a favor?" And we're like, "Sure, no problem." And she says, "We need you to do a research on these people's names as they're coming in, and we're going to invite them to our annual meeting later on within the next year or two," because she didn't want to do it in 2002. So I think we did it in 2004. So at that time, we had a couple years to go through all the names from all the victims, the families, the first responders, witnesses, you name it. that we can find names for and to invite them to the organization's annual meeting. And we did find a lot of names, and some of the people were invited. I got the chance to meet a couple of people that worked in the Trade Center, one office clerk. I remember meeting a window washer. It was actually a guy that was contracted by the Trade Center that was washing windows at the time. And the one that really sticks out the most is we met a woman who lost her son due to safety and security reasons. I'm not going to mention her name or who she was related to, but her son was on Flight 93. And we got a chance to meet her, and I'll tell you, when she first met us, she just opened up her arms, started crying in our arms. It was very emotional. So as you can see from the power of my voice and everything, I got a little emotional there. 9/11 will always stick to me, from seeing what was happening on television to even doing the research project into meeting the people that were part of 9/11. So I will never forget this tragic day ever. I made this video because this is the 24th anniversary. I've never done this before, so I wanted to get a little bit, show you, all of you, my insights, my experience. The remainder of the video, my parents and I went out to Pennsylvania for a trip, and we actually went to a makeshift memorial that was set up for Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. I'll talk about that, show some pictures that I took, and then talk about the different various memorials like the Pentagon, the World Trade Center, which have not got the chance to see that in person. So the pictures and information I actually got off the internet. And I'll talk about that. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about right this point, is just my experience. And like I said, what I dealt with at the beginning of the day of 9/11. And now I'm going to talk about the makeshift memorial that my parents and I went to. This is a photo I took of the makeshift memorial for Flight 93 back in the fall of 2002 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. As you can see, many people stopped by and left American flags, articles of clothing, mainly hats and caps signed, and lots of flowers. I saw this plaque on the ground. I had to take a photo of it. This is what the plaque says. Let's roll in memoriam those brilliant passengers and flight crew members of United Airlines Flight 93 that on September 11, 2001 defeated the coward terrorist hijackers and their intended purpose. Blessed are the peacemakers, for their heroism has allowed freedom to go on ringing. We honor you, we admire you, we salute you, and we shall never forget. May the land remain forever, America the beautiful. In this photo that I took, looks out in the farm field where United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into the ground. This photo I took is another plaque that has all the passengers' names that died on United Airlines Flight 93. Let's take a quick recap of events that folded on Tuesday, September 11, 2001. On Tuesday, September 11, 2001, New York City suffered a horrific event that involved two jumbo jets crashing into the World Trade Center. At 8:45 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower. Then at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon. Then at 10:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into the ground in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed. Then 29 minutes later, at 10:28 a.m., the North Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed. Then at 5:20 p.m., 7 World Trade Center collapsed. Now let's take a look at the memorials that dedicate those that were affected by the tragedy of September 11th. The World Trade Center Memorial is located at 180 Greenwich Street, New York, New York. The memorial remembers and honors the 2,977 lives that were killed during the September 11th attacks. World Trade Center, Pentagon, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Also includes the 6 killed during the World Trade Center bombing back in 1993. The memorial is located on 8 acres of the 16 acres of the World Trade Center, which includes 2 pools that have a 30-foot waterfall that goes into a square basin. Then it drops another 20 feet. The 2 pools are divided. North, which includes the World Trade Center North Tower names, World Trade Center bombing of 1993, and the names from American Airlines Flight 11. South, which includes the World Trade Center South Tower names from United Airlines Flight 175, names from American Airlines Flight 77, and the names from United Airlines Flight 93. The names of the 2,983 victims are inscribed on bronze parapets edge along the memorial pools. Also throughout the memorial grounds, you will find 400 swamp white oak trees. As you enter the visitor center from above ground, you immediately enter the museum 70 feet below the ground. The museum covers the area where all of the 7 World Trade Center buildings were located. The museum tells the story about 9/11 through interactive technology, narratives, and over 60,000 artifacts. The museum is located in the same area as the memorial. Now we'll look at the Pentagon Memorial. The Pentagon Memorial is located at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. The memorial is made out of 184 eliminated benches arranged according to the age of the victim. Each bench is engraved with the person's name. Underneath each bench, you will find a shallow, lighted pool of flowing water. A wall has been built along the edge of the memorial. Throughout the memorial, you will find 85 crepe myrtle trees. There's a visitor center just right off the memorial. This memorial was the first memorial built right after the tragedy. However, the memorial does not have a museum. The visitor center does have some exhibits and educational information. Now we'll look at the Flight 93 Memorial. The Flight 93 Memorial is located at 6424 Lincoln Highway in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. As you approach the memorial, you will see this 93-foot tower with 40 wind chimes known as the Tower of Voices, one for each passenger that's deceased in the crash. The memorial does have a visitor center that looks over the crash site. The outside observation platform aligns the path of Flight 93. The Wall of Names is a wall with the names of each passenger that lost their life in the crash. Thank you very much for taking the time to look at this video. And remember, we will always remember and never forget the tragedy of September 11th, 2001.